Hello and a warm witchy welcome to Cara Dwin's Cold Case Crime Tarot. So today we're going to be looking at the connection of shootings of Tylic Pugh, who was fatally shot in 2020. And then we're going to be looking at Rachael DelTondo, who was fatally shot in 2018. Both happened in the month of May. Then there is connected to this, there is another individual called Sheldon Jeter Jr., who is currently serving life imprisonment for first-degree murder of shooting Tylic Pugh, who was a family friend. They were really close friends, allegedly, and also they had lived together. So the connection of Sheldon with Rachael is that when he was 17 years old, he had messaged Rachael asking if he could talk to her. He needed someone to talk to. So Rachael had agreed to this. It was late at night and her fiance was out of area with his friends. We're doing some type of social event activities. So Rachael and Sheldon were in the car in a remote area, parked up, and as it happened, the police turned up to check out the vehicle and spoke with Rachael and Sheldon. There was nothing found in the way of anything inappropriate going on, and the explanation was given that they were talking and they were friends. So the police had made a report about the discussion with them, and then unfortunately what happened was further down the line, this is what I feel Rachael had confided in a friend, and I think information slipped out, and her fiance wanted to delve deeper into what he'd heard about Rachael in the incident in the car with 17-year-old Sheldon. Her fiance did get the police report, but there was a whole load of other information attached to this report. He did show people, but what happened then was somebody leaked this report to the media and to Rachael's place of work, where she was a teacher at a local school. Rachael was suspended with full pay. Her relationship with her fiance broke down. And this was a really horrible time for her. The whole community was knowing all this information. Now, I'm going to be switching to tarot in a minute, but I already feel Rachael was a diversion and a distraction, and that potentially they were trying to make her look untrustworthy or unreliable for events which I will talk about, that I feel the tarot are going to enlighten us on as well. Because I just get the impression that Rachael cared about the younger people in her community. She was worried about certain criminal activity / drugs in the area, and young people had been telling her some information, and she was trying to piece together clues. And we switched to the tarot now, so we're going to be looking at these. So sorry for the little break there, just had to switch to this. So basically, what I'm sensing is And I'm hoping the cards are going to sort of clarify or give some type of guidance around this. I get the impression that Rachael was finding out stuff. She was worried about young people in the area. And here's some cards already falling out here. So let's have a look what comes out. So this card here, I feel Rachael's death was definitely to silence her. This was to make sure whatever information she knew was not going to be leaked out. I do not feel it was a crime of passion that is being talked about allegedly. I'm feeling this was a hit. And like I feel there was this diversion and distraction that, you know, this was to do with her involvement with Sheldon, which I don't believe there was anything untoward going on. I feel Rachael was being watched. I do feel Sheldon did have erratic behaviour around this time, because I think with everything that was going on, deals being made and the interconnecting people involved in like the crime/drugs in the area, I think Sheldon was scared Rachael was going to disclose what he had confided in her because of all this information leaked out, is what I'm feeling. You know, she's in a relationship, you know, now there's a relationship's breaking down, she's suspended from her job, there is all this chit-chatter in the community, and I think he was feeling as though Rachael would protect herself and talk about what was really going on because of, you know, his name's being put out there. He was scared as well because he didn't want people to think that he was sharing information either. And I think, you know, there's quite a few young people who know exactly what happened to Rachael, but they're going to be too scared to ever speak up. And we got to remember as well that I think Rachael started piecing together local people that were potentially involved in grooming of young people for this criminal network. I think she knew that gifts were being given to young people. I really do sense that Sheldon was receiving things. And again, I just feel all this was being sort of pinpointed as like Rachael having this relationship to sort of like I said, divert all the attention away from what was really going on. So Rachael felt she was being, allegedly felt she was being watched and followed, and she felt it was by the police, and she shared this concern with others. But what I'm feeling is that there are individuals who were watching Rachael on both sides. I don't believe this is a whole police cover-up. I believe there are bad apples individually in this. And I feel like Rachael was just, like she was like, in that card, the sacrifice in this, to make sure everything stayed under wraps and that whatever money dealings were going on for people to turn a blind eye, that it was all being covered up that way. So what I'm feeling is the police department, from what I can gather, has been struggling with trying to deal with everything themselves, underfunded resources, plus everything going on in the area. So I don't believe it was a whole cover-up. I think Rachael's here, so you've got like that torch shining over her. So she was in the spotlight of some people thinking she was a police informant and was going to be opening about information she knew. Then on the other side here, you got the people thinking that she is getting like information from the young people and identities of what was going on in the community. And this is why I feel Sheldon was acting erratically. I feel there was a lot of deflection and projection to sort of like put this spotlight on her intentionally. I feel she felt really betrayed. I feel people were turning their back on her. She was losing friends. But I just see that no matter how much she had sleepless nights or that this worry was happening, she wanted to protect the young people in the area. And I'm just trying to gather information of the night of the murder. So I am feeling that Rachel's relationship, because she was in I think it was about a 6-month relationship then with Sheldon's older brother, and she did feel really sort of close to him. She felt safe with him. And on the night of the murder, he happened to be out of town, and I don't think that was a coincidence at all. I feel in this that this was all planned. They knew Rachel's whereabouts. Rachael was picked up by a female young person, and she went to an ice cream parlour with this female young person and also one of Sheldon's other brothers. And I feel the timeline of events here, this was all discussed and planned, where Rachael would be, what times she would potentially be dropped off. I feel people were frightened to death in this situation as well, because I think so much is going on behind the scenes, as you can see here in this situation. And I think the perpetrator knew she was going to be coming home around that time, and they were silencing her because of the information they thought she had. And you can see the grief and worry in this situation. And, you know, I feel Rachael was a strong person and she wasn't giving in to this. She knew that there was bad things happening in that area, and she had integrity to actually want to do something about this. And I think she just overall had a big heart and she cared. And I feel that she ended up a pawn in all of this. I feel she did let her boundaries slip when she was trying to do the right thing, which I feel did lead to her demise, because I feel, you know, people were talking amongst themselves, gossiping, and I feel when Sheldon's name was brought out into the public arena through that incident report, he began getting really scared, because everything was shared, his name, all their personal details, so they knew exactly who she was in the car with in a remote area. And you can see she was trapped, and he was frightened as well, because, you know, it starts raising questions. Why were they both in the car in a remote area, and why did the police happen to be there? And I think all of this started raising these different alarm bells. And Rachel was stuck in the midst of all of this, and she was piecing together certain information. And she was seeing look what she's seeing here. She could potentially expose different professionals in the community. And I do get a sense as well that even down to her closest friends, they were actually turning their back on her. And I get a sense things were getting really uncomfortable. You can see here that, you know, you're talking about the hidden evil here in the community. And Rachael definitely had that spotlight on her. It was a big burden for her to carry, but she was going to carry this through because ultimately she knew and felt she had did nothing wrong. And even though she was being advised as well to sort of not get involved with young people after all this circus of information come out, she still did because she felt she had done nothing wrong and she was doing the right thing by these young people. I feel this represents Sheldon in that locked up in prison. He's not going to talk. He knows that what's gone on. He knows there are other people bigger and far more unscrupulous out there, and he won't talk. And I already sense Tylic's death and shooting is all linked to this same network. And I think when people get close to the truth or it's rumoured that they know too much information or they can compromise certain individuals, they are silenced. And I feel there's been a few more incidences of killings similar to Rachael's and Tylic's that have happened as a silencing and to keep wraps on what is going on, because I think people have got too deep in all of this in the community. There are some that I feel are connected directly, some I feel may be turning a blind eye, but you know, getting money to turn a blind eye. And I feel Rachael felt like there was this disease happening in the area. And we have to remember as well, you know, you can't even imagine feeling betrayed by this many people. I mean, this was impacting her mental health, her emotional well-being. And I just feel there's like a much larger picture in all of this. And, you know, Rachael's family want justice. And I do feel that there is some information that's going to be put together soon, or has been. Get the impression that potentially, allegedly, could possibly, that fingers may potentially or possibly be pointed at Sheldon. And that's how I see this going. So thank you for watching, and we'll see what developments are going to be unwrapped and unravelled. Blessings all.